Hello and welcome to Admit One, your movie and TV podcast, right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Netley Thompson, and as always and as usual, I'm joined by my platonic husband, Kristian Masham. I saw your little then. It's as always and usual on the show.
That's true.
The show isn't particularly common.
True. My knee's out. My knee is out, yeah. No, you're right. That's a fair point. I just, as you said it, I thought...
It's not particularly usual.
Nothing about this.
We haven't been live since April.
No.
And that was many months ago.
Yeah. Since then, we've made a dog. Rich spotted it pretty quickly.
Yeah, he did. That's... I was hoping it would last longer than that.
Oh, that's good news. Good news. This is Kida. Kida is the latest addition to the Rabbit Hole family. And she's sitting with us nicely while we talk about Agatha all along this evening.
Indeed. And head in a precarious position there. But here we are. Yes, we are here to talk about witches.
Witches, indeed. I was about to say what you would put as the preliminary title. I did not to do that.
It would have been a bad idea,
yeah,
to say the least. I don't know. Did Kida enjoy Agatha?
I think so. Yeah. Kida enjoys everything.
She just like the colour purple.
Yeah.
Is that why she's chosen me?
That's exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. This is.
Well, she doesn't get to see her Uncle Jack very often. So.
This is true. Oh, I thought I'd moved on to you for a moment there, but it's her like, dearie me. Yes, we are here to talk about Agatha all along, Marvel's latest attempt at making something, and this time I think as the youth would say, they cooked.
Yeah, they did. They did some baking.
They certainly did. Some goods were made. Confectionery created,
absolutely,
if you will.
Yeah,
if you will,
absolutely.
So we'll do the usual rundown. Give me your overall 30,000 feet thoughts.
Before we do, are we wanting to do this?
Oh, we can do this.
I don't know. I just was just
yeah. Well, we can
in case
crack
we've
them open
forgotten
now.
about it.
I've got a dog on my lap, and I'm fat, so this is just sorry. That's gut to the head. I do apologise.
Also, as you can tell, we don't have a desk.
No, that's gone.
The desk was dismantled shortly after Rabbit Hole was, and I didn't really see the point in rebuilding it for one bespoke show. So we're here on this lovely sofa, but we don't have an easier way of dealing with the mics, so they are handheld.
Indeed, yes. We attempted some mic stand tomfoolery, but it was Chris would have to sit very far forward.
I would have been like this for the entire thing.
Yeah. Or we would have had to have acquired other mic stands that are relics in the loft to be found by beings in the future. So instead, we're gonna try these Oreo things. I was gonna save it for the Christmas one, but it turns out everybody drank them without me. So here we are.
Yeah. Well, we weren't planning this. Camilla just brought one home for you.
No, I know. I'm very appreciative.
Yeah.
Very appreciative. But you'd already tried one. Rich has already tried one, and the intent was to do it all on my intent. I never vocalised that intent, so I'm not.
All right, so it's your fault. Okay.
No, I mean,
yeah. So this is for those not following. This is the Oreo limited edition Coca-Cola, which has been going for a surprisingly long time for something that's limited edition. I've had it before and I like it, so I'm intrigued to see what Jack said. Oh, what's the heavens?
Smell.
Literally just poured it all over my crotch.
That's not where Oreos go.
Isn't it? How'd you get the cream in the middle? Yeah, that's the face that I poured.
You expect Coke and you get chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really bizarre. It's like the nicest chocolate milk I've ever had, but fizzy.
A, not even close to a good chocolate milk.
No, I know it's not.
Not even close. Can we lie back down, Keto? I need elbow room. And don't ever suggest fizzy milk ever again.
But it's weird because
It's fine.
it does taste like Oreo. It is
It does.
unmistakably Oreo to me.
It does taste like Oreo. Asa has told me because in Canada they have them the other way round. They have Coke flavoured Oreos.
Trying to work out what that would. That must be like caramelly Oreo.
Well, it's and they have popping candy in them as well to represent the fizz.
What, in the Oreos?
Yeah.
I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Yeah, can you get Asa to bring some over on his next?
I don't know when that would be, but
And then we'll do a one-off show specifically for that.
I'm sure we can find another reason. She's become alert. She is alert. Anyway, what are your 30,000 foot thought? Oh, there's too many F's and TH's to be.
I know what you were going for there.
30,000 foot thoughts on Agatha all along.
I had a great time with Agatha all along in general. I thought it was very, very good. Very good. And not that it's very good as an MCU piece. And, prefacing what I mean here, actually, one of the big complaints we've had about the MCU ourselves when we've been talking about them on this show, historically, has been how a lot of it is how it compares to the rest of the MCU, how things fit in, whatever it might be in that regard. This is very, very good regardless of all of that, I think. I think there's a really good just show here that works really well and still fits in with the MCU in some nice, pleasing ways as well. This is what I think a lot of the content's been missing.
Oh, you stopped the second I put the mic there. Okay.
I think it's what a lot of the content has been missing. Kind of a fun, interesting, compelling tale within the bigger picture. I feel like everything else has tried to either do the bigger picture, try to do something standalone and missed both.
Yeah.
Up until this point, for the most part, anyway. Like obviously, WandaVision was very good, Hawkeye was very good, but the things that have been the problems that haven't hit, I think that's why. And I think because this wasn't trying to do anything to squeeze in and shoehorn anything else in, it was just a interesting tale, but then also does fit in with the rest of the stuff. It works very, very well.
No, I agree for the most part. I think I'm at a point now where largely I don't give a shit about connectivity anymore because they keep screwing it up and I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to keep leaning credence. And the things that are the best that have been coming out are the stuff that don't really have anything to do with anything.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're just doing their own thing, and yeah, that's one thing Marvel lost sight of that they were so good at in the beginning was like, not everything has to be connected to everything. It can be its own thing. The world is quite big.
Yes.
The universe is quite big. Not everything, like, I don't have anything to do with the people of Horsham. Like, not everything has to connect to everything. So I think once they've started realizing that, even though this will come back in ways, and it is, in a sense, a direct sequel to something. So it's connected to that, but
it wasn't trying to move anything along other than its own story.
No, and I think everybody in the world agrees that the multiverse was a terrible fucking decision and it sucks ass. So I'm glad this had nothing to do with it.
This might be one of the first things in a while that hasn't had a multiverse thing shoehorned.
That's the problem. Nothing really has a multiverse. But what was the last thing to come out?
What, Deadpool?
Yeah. Okay, fair point. Deadpool. You don't need to avoid. No, not really. I do think you'd be a moron.
You benefit more from watching it, but you could understand and follow the show.
I think understanding something is just you're not. I nearly said something outrageous. You're not an idiot. But I think you should watch WandaVision. Otherwise, you have no context through any of these bloody characters are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
or how they've got.
Not that you need it.
The beginning would be particularly confusing as well.
The beginning would be confusing. There would be there is a particular character reveal that would mean nothing, especially if you haven't watched anything else. You see a lot of people. There are clearly a lot of people on the Tinterwebs that are just watching this. I did the button though. How is it? Press any button. Press any button. But 3 of them don't work.
Honestly,
Today's been a faff.
Yeah.
We set this up hours ago. That's why this has done
you
that.
need a reminder of why we don't do this. Just witness our day.
I will say today has been caused by the fact that we don't do it.
A lot of it, yeah. A lot of it's also just been not. What was that fucking faff earlier with OBS?
Oh, yeah.
Where it just moved. It moved a thing, and I couldn't move it again.
Yeah, that was insane. That was insane. But yeah, there are
Which
obviously
makes a good point. It is highly possible that just the buttons don't work.
that's yeah. Yeah, you can tell a lot of people online have been watching this without watching anything, or suddenly people are pretend like, oh, but in the comics, I was like, you haven't read a comic a day in your life.
Oh, I definitely haven't, so I'm not going to make that argument at any point with you.
No, I know, but you don't make the argument.
No, I
but I've seen a few people where it's just where people are like, before these last couple of episodes came out, they were just like, oh, we hope something happens where Agatha gets that iconic white streak in her hair, which has happened once a year ago because of WandaVision. Yeah. It's the same with a lot of it. And everyone's like, yeah, that iconic thing. And everybody was just replying, her iconic look is the fact that she's like 107 and looks it. Yeah. Obviously, she's much older than that. But she's just this withered old woman. But here we are. I really liked it. Those are my general thoughts. I thought on day one, when they dropped the first couple of episodes, the first couple of episodes, I was like, oh dear, here we go again. Some Marvel's television trash. Garbage.
Definitely starts that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then episode 3 started to pick up, and you could tell something was going to change at the end of episode 2 because it took them that long to get into the plot. It was one of those, like, it comes back and it becomes important
I think
later.
She's got something to say.
Speak. You have thoughts? And it does come back and it becomes important later, but it was just in the moment. It had nothing to do with anything, and it was all a bit garbage.
Yeah.
As we shall say.
Well, I kind of liked, in a way, what it was doing, and obviously it started off almost as a continuation from WandaVision. Obviously, with Agatha kind of living this TV drama sort of show, it's kind of murder drama show, because it's even presented like that, because the first thing comes up as like Agatha in Westview or something, or whatever, the name, as if it's like a castle, and it's presented in that way, and obviously her breaking out of it, because the spell is still there from Wanda's kept her in that spell with that TV show.
Yep.
So I like the way that starts, and kind of you working out and seeing that she's being broken out of it, etc. I enjoyed that. But you're right. There's elements of it that was just, this isn't going to mean anything. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, it was because it was playing it up as a mystery that we already knew the answer to.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't like. So the pacing was fucked. I also think every performance in those scenes was fucked. And I think it was weird intentionally, and I think there was an intent behind it, but I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated watching it. I didn't like Catherine Hahn during those scenes. I didn't like Aubrey Plaza during those scenes. And I'll get to Aubrey Plaza more later.
I remember you saying that to me early on, and I feel like that was a very deliberate performance.
It doesn't make it good. Like, deliberate doesn't mean...
Well, I see it as that, like, particularly Aubrey Plaza knew that she was playing along with her.
Yeah, 100%. But that doesn't mean that what I got, I enjoyed.
Fair.
It's still, like, I don't doubt that it was intentional, but it was still shit for me. It was just... I think everyone in those first couple of episodes was just really... but I also think I was just like, we know the answer to this mystery.
So
Plod the fuck along.
Yeah. It took 2 episodes to really kind of set up what the show was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, I don't have any... this is adding nothing because we know the answer. So it just felt And we didn't know at the time how long this was going to go on for.
Yeah.
I was like, is this the fucking show?
Yeah.
Because I'm out. If this is it, I'm out. But here we are. Here we are.
Because episode 2 is then them going around and starting to build up the coven, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, which is...
The fight of Aubrey Plaza is at the end of episode 1. Is that right? Because she breaks out of the... broken out of the spell. She walks around in the buff for a bit. Aubrey Plaza comes back. They have the big fight in the house.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then she tells her the 7 are coming. The Salem 7 are coming. And then Teen asks about the road. That's how the show ends. And then the second episode is then going and building the coven.
Find the coven, yeah. That one wasn't as bad, but still wasn't great. Because a lot of it was just like, oh, yes.
Yeah, well, because it was just
weird performances, a lot of... Yeah.
It was just multiple fetch quests, essentially.
Yeah. It was just...
And again, it hadn't really set up what the show was about to become at that point. So it took 2 episodes to really kind of build what the show was going to be.
Yeah, and I still felt like Catherine Hahn hadn't really found like a rhythm for the show yet. She's just being weird. There was something early in the show. There was just always weird faces and weird ways of speaking.
I think that again is deliberate, which we'll come to as we talk through it. I think that is a very deliberate performance choice because I feel like Agatha is putting on a performance at that.
I agree, but again, I turn that around and say deliberate doesn't mean good. Like,
well, what would have made that? Because I think why is it then that's bad? I'm curious.
Because it just felt fucked. Like it didn't like everything she was saying was, why are you saying it like that? Like it's
when you've got the context of why she's saying it like that, doesn't that then become
no? Because that doesn't answer why she's saying it like that. It's not that she wasn't saying it like Agatha. I think it's just a really weird way to speak. There was all these weird, just throwing vibrato into her voice for no fucking reason. Like not even in the way that Agatha would do towards the end of the show or when she in. WandaVision. It was just being really weird and like just really rapid nonsense facial movements, and it just screamed bad acting.
I don't think I even spotted that.
And not because Catherine Hahn is not a bad actor by any stretch.
No, I think she's excellent in the show. But...
She is. When once it gets going, she is, and I think everyone's good once they get going. I do have one thing. It's a hurdle with me more than anything. Fuck it. I'm going to jump straight into it now. I can't not. It's the same with everything I've ever seen, and it's just a specific problem. I can't not see April Ludgate.
Oh, no.
And it ruins everything. It ruins everything. She's not compelling to me because I can't take Aubrey Plaza seriously as an actor. Yeah. Not that she was trying to be serious, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like
you can't.
It's not in the same way where I don't see Joe Locke and I don't see Catherine Hahn. I'm seeing Billy and Agatha, but I'm just seeing April.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. I just can't watch things with Aubrey Plaza in them, it would seem, because that's all I see. I just see April. Parks and Rec for anyone who doesn't know, and if you don't know, watch it. It's phenomenal. But
treat yourself.
But other than that, yeah. Once the ball got rolling, I thought it was highly enjoyable. And I think this is, whether or not it's my favorite, it's definitely the best written.
Oh, absolutely, I agree with that.
Marvel series that they've done.
Yeah,
100%, 100%. And I think they pulled the twists off better than any of the others. They pulled the finale off better than WandaVision, because the finale of WandaVision was just lasers, albeit magic lasers, but lasers nonetheless. Just two of the same character fighting each other, essentially. And I thought that was about to happen, but it didn't. And I'm glad. So overall, this was very, very good.
The finale almost just became an epilogue in a way.
Yeah, I do have issues with the finale, but it's less...
But the fact they did it as a 2-parter aired on the same day kind of makes it work.
No, because it was...
I think they would have been better off to do it as one long episode. I think that would...
I don't disagree. I think everything in it was good. It was in the wrong place. Because I think we should have had all of that Agatha and Nicholas stuff scattered throughout the whole show.
Yeah, that could have been good. That could have worked well.
And because they do what I fucking hate, they do a big twist, reveal, ignore it. For more than half of the episode, they just ignored it. And I hate it when things do that. They do this like, oh, this is a big twist, there's a big twist, build up, stop. We're not going to come back to this for ages. And I hate it.
Well, the only thing I disagree with there, and we are jumping all over the place here.
Oh yeah, we'll get to more structured notes and stuff.
Is that because of what that final episode? Full spoilers.
We've done that already.
Yeah, but because of what that final episode is, although you're saying that kind of Agatha Nicholas stuff could have been spread out nicely through it, but with then the reveal within that of how she loses Nikki, and
for sure, carry on.
and then the reveal of the road and that song, and that's been her all along doing that. If they'd revealed that part early on, then
no, they wouldn't. No. Okay, so but it's just it doesn't have. We didn't need 30 minutes of it at the end. Right at the end, they didn't. They could have cut to that and not reveal all of the stuff because nothing gets revealed until the very end of that section anyway.
Well, I think that's still part of the character building as well, and I think what that's doing is setting up. Because the way I read that, we're talking about the end before we've spoken about any of the other bits, but rabbit hole all over the place. The way I read that is what is then it's confirming, or not necessarily confirming, but explaining Agatha's motivations, not just across this show, but in general, her motivation of life and existence. Because the way I read it, and this might be just my interpretation, and it might not even be the intention, but the way I read it, and if you look at the story of what she was going through with Nikki, Nicholas says to him, Agatha, do we have to kill witches today? And I think she's out there killing witches and killing people to occupy Lady Death. So Lady Death is too busy to come and get Nicholas. So then the one time they don't, she comes along, Nicholas dies.
Yeah.
And then at that point thereafter, she keeps going again and again and again to stop Lady Death coming after her because she's too afraid to then meet Nikki again in the afterlife.
Yeah, I don't see how any of that
just checking.
counters my point.
No. Sorry, I'm building to that.
Oh, okay.
Although I've lost my train of thought now. I like trains.
Also, as well, to further enhance my point, was they constantly like teasing things of that she's not that terrible throughout the show, but show nothing, show no evidence for it. It's all dumped at the end, and I don't mind that scene or being at the end. And there's nothing wrong with all of that section. I don't think any of it is bad, and I don't think any of it shouldn't be in the show. It's just the only thing that bothered me about it was big twist. I want to know what's going on here right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
This, because it doesn't become important until the end of that 30 minutes, I'm sitting there going, how much of this episode is going to be this?
Yeah.
Really, like how much of this episode is going to be that? And I know we needed the end bit of it before we could see the proper reveal of the twist and everything, and that's absolutely fine. You could have done that there. You could have had 5-10 minutes at the beginning of the episode and then gone into more, because the end, like the very, very end, did feel a little bit all over the place. Because they had fucking less than half an episode to get it all done because they spent so much time on this. But if you kind of sprinkled it, the random suggestions that she's not that bad would have had some more credence and had some more weight to them. And you wouldn't have wasted more time, and you could have spent more time on the end.
Yeah. See, because the way I see it is just the thing with the random suggestions that she's not that bad and that never really being validated. You're supposed to always feel like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that she's not that bad. She's up to something, and by the end of it, we're going to see what she's up to, and that's what makes it a twist. Whereas I think if you were all the way through, you were giving credence, confirming it, then you're going to go, oh right, so there's something else going on. Then she's not up to something. She's not that bad. You can kind of see where it's coming and going, and then I think the moment of seeing the story with Nikki doesn't have the same weight to it, because I think getting it after the fact and then piecing it all together then has more weight to then build to end that, I think.
So I don't agree with that, really. I think because, let's be honest, the show wasn't that much to do with Agatha. The show wasn't that much about Agatha, so I don't think that would have changed that much. And also, like, the show is called Agatha. She's not going to be the problem. She's not going to be the main villain. It's because it's about her and it's Disney. So, like, that if you're going in expecting that, I think you've had a bonk on the head. on your way in. So that's a you problem. So I don't think that really changes anything. I don't think it necessarily has more, because I'm not saying reveal anything, because it's not until Aubrey arrives at the very end. What's a fucking death? Arrives. Yes. When they're both asleep. That anything's revealed. Like anything's revealed. Also, her saying, "But why do you let them believe that you killed yourself? Because the truth is more awful." Absolutely is not. That death took your son. That is other than we murdered everyone, but they know that anyway. They know you've murdered hundreds of people.
No, I agree there. It doesn't feel like the story.
There is nothing behind that. Yeah, like that behind the truth is much worse. It isn't in any way. You were meant to. Your son was meant to be stillborn. You begged for more time because you were boinking death, which is quite the statement. Gave you more time, and you prolonged that time by just killing people. But they already knew you were killing people.
Yeah.
And if anything, that would make you go, "Oh, yeah, fair."
We had enough. Enough?
Enough?
That's
Yeah, you've done that a lot today, yeah.
happening.
Do you want to leave? Or are you just half on the sofa? You're going to turn rapidly and knock that the fuck over, aren't you? Sounds about right. Because you're an idiot.
She's just clumsy. She's only 8 months old.
She should be doing your taxes for you. 8 months?
Kid, are you trapped? Is that what it is? You can't really see, but her front legs are on the floor and her back end's still on the sofa, and she's just kind of awkwardly plonked there.
Boop.
Jack did that earlier, and I thought Keita was going to kill him.
Oh, she looked offended. Anyway, this is why we don't have the dog present. Yes, Katie has written in and says, as a mother, she may feel that although her death took her son, she blames herself because she couldn't protect him. In that sense, it is worse than murdering him. I'm not a mother, and obviously I'm not equipped to be, so I cannot suggest that. But I don't know. You never know. Emotions in that sense are wild and unpredictable. Because of course they are. Of course they would be. Hello, Hannah.
Kiri. Oh, you said hello. Sorry.
What?
I thought you said her, Hannah, as in questioning who her was. So I answered.
I said hello.
Yeah, I know. And then I realised you said... I corrected myself. A wild Sid appears as well. Look.
Yes, a rabbit. You're meant to chase them, aren't you?
Wrong breed.
It's just dogs. Anyway, you are remarkably distracting. This is why I said no. But Chris did it anyway, even though it was a terrible idea.
My dog, my house.
My fist, your face. Anyway, the notes are coming out now. The notes are coming out. I do feel... Please don't fist his face. Well, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I do feel like a lot of Billy's dialogue was very silly and exposition-y.
Yep, there is a lot of that.
And it was... A lot of it, I was just like, all right, shut up. We know. I have eyes. And I've seen television before. I know how stories work. But other than that, I thought his character, obviously pretty much everything revolving his character. Again, it was a bit of a mystery I know the answer to. He was cast years ago, and the second I saw what he looked like, I went, Wiccan. A slim, gay teenager with dark hair. Wiccan. That may have been a bit...
Oh, sorry, yeah, the song has been in my head for weeks.
And is hilarious in German.
It is.
Yeah.
I also, just throwing back to that montage of her doing the song over and over and killing coven after coven after coven. I think that was really well a montage, really well put together. I think the music worked really well within it, and seeing all of that and that big build up, I really loved it. I loved that section.
Was Billy gay? They literally never mentioned. To be fair, they only mentioned it twice. But I also meant Joe Locke, not Billy, but even though he is. That's an interesting choice of pillow, but you do you, girl. You do you. Already done the Nicholas should have been spread out throughout the show. First 2 episodes had me concerned. Billy can't decide whether or not he hates Agatha. And it happens really rapidly and it's really flip-floppy, particularly in the last scene.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, why won't you just die? It was like, you're not horrible, let's go be friends and go on an adventure.
It is a very teenager way to behave, to be fair. You're right, yeah. He does flip-flop all over the place.
And it's so rapid and it's just fucking hell. It's a bit chaotic and I'm not sure whether it affected anything or not. Not really, but it was just a bit weird. It was just... The one that I was a bit odd about was when he just went, yeah, fuck it, everyone's dying now. Get off the road.
Yes.
You're going to sink into the ground. And
that was very much a teenager throwing a temper tantrum, I think.
oh, for sure. But he just fobbed everybody off. And then it was like, oh, hey, we're all fine. I'm dressed as Maleficent. You can't bother me.
I did enjoy the Maleficent and the Green Witch thing.
It was good. They all look good. I couldn't tell who was Kale dressed up as. I can't remember.
They're all just various generic witches.
Well, but 2 of them from Wizard of Oz, and I did recognise Kale's costume, but I just couldn't remember who it was. I can't remember who it was. I think some of the best acting in this show actually came from episode 8, second to last one, and it was Agatha and April Ludgate having that chat before things kicked off.
Yep.
And just their back and forth. She was the witch from Snow White. Thank you. And I just thought, yeah, fucking excellent writing, excellent performances, and it was just fucking great. I enjoyed it. You're just nodding.
I don't remember what chat you're talking about.
The only one they fucking had in episode.
Oh, I can't remember any of this details. Remind me in the conversation.
It was them just talking about. It was when. There was the conversation where they said, "Why haven't you told everyone?"
Oh,
what
right, I
actually
see.
happened?
I got yeah. Apologies. Yes, apologies.
And everything was kicking off, and it was great. It was great. To be fair, most of my compliments come from the last couple of episodes. Episode 6 onward, I don't. Yeah. I think it just fucking ramped up.
Absolutely.
From the really awkward, you should see me in a crown drop. Forward.
I liked that.
It was just a bit. It became retroactively awkward when I heard somebody change it for bury a friend.
I see. Because that works a little better.
It worked better because obviously the drop is just a deep voice saying Billy.
Yeah.
For one, so that works really well, and then it's just more of a witchy like beat to it.
Yeah.
And he just buried his friends.
He did just bury his friends. He did just do that.
So it works on more levels than he's got crown on.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's a cool crown, to be fair.
I will say the final Wiccan costume
looks great.
Really fucking cool.
It looked great.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of that.
Looks banging. And they tease that throughout the show, and that's what really young Billy wears, like a really rudimentary version of it in WandaVision.
Yep.
So it looks great. I like the little details. People are thinking they see like an X-Men logo embroidered on it, and I'm like, incorrect.
Yes. Which you're manifesting that, aren't you?
Yeah. Do you think they're going to add a symbol to characters that don't exist yet, and he's not a part of? Yes. Technically, in the comics, he is a mutant, though, because he's Magneto's grandkid. Mm-hmm. You're about to stack it. Okay, You've saved yourself a little bit. We are flying through my notes quite quickly because you're not giving me anything back.
Sorry, I'm just kind of listening to what you have to say.
Yep, the suit looks great. Literally, it's quite funny. One thing I will say about that moment actually was just really odd that he just suddenly flies in. He's all suited and booted. He's fully wicked. I'm like, you couldn't do magic 10 minutes ago, and you've got a suit with a crown,
And was very good at all the magic.
yeah, and you're flying,
Yeah.
and you're flying. But that was a little bit silly. But then he landed, and I just went, "Oh, it looks good." And then Agatha went, "You look good. We agree."
I quite like in the last episode when he's in Agatha's basement again and he's setting up all the stuff and she's like, "Oh, analog magic," and then he just ignites all the matches. She's like, "Oh, okay."
Or not. Or not. Yeah. I did write Ghost Agatha was silly. Which it was, but I know a lot of the time in the comics she is a ghost,
Right.
and in Midnight Suns she's a ghost, and like there are many things in which she is a ghost, and she does look as a ghost. She looks very fully Agatha. She is the full version of Agatha, but it just felt a bit hokey. Because we've not seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm a quick study. I was like, okay, that's fine. It's just a weird way to introduce ghosts. Hello, Sammy. We're talking about ghosts. We've also talked about many other things, but otherwise, I think that's it. Oh no! One thing I think we need to discuss in greater detail is the absolute masterclass of writing throughout the show that then gave us episode 7.
Which is the tarot card one.
Yes.
Yep.
Goodness me.
Yep. Very, very good.
This is how when people pull off shit like this, when people pull off episodes like that, is when you know they had a plan and people didn't fuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And that's how you get a good show. And this was evidence of the fact that she wrote something and they just let her do it.
Yep.
Because all of the callbacks, just the random things she would say throughout the episodes that then played into this, just the idea as well of someone who just, she doesn't time jump, but she experiences time out of order.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, it's great.
that's just a cool idea, and I think that episode was phenomenal, and Patti LuPone absolutely fucking killed it. Everything about that was good, to the point where that's why I put the notification of I love being a witch. That episode was so fucking good, and for me, it was easily the best episode of the show, and completely understandable why it's the highest rated, or second highest rated MCU episode of all time. I think it's better than the Loki season 2 finale.
I agree with you. I
think it should be better than that. Should be rated better than that.
Yeah. No, it worked really, really well. And it was satisfying seeing it all come together as well. Because you kind of, from what I remember, there was a lot of giving you context to the outbursts you had already seen in the previous episodes, but there were also new outbursts going on within that episode as well, wasn't there? And it was all kind of piecing it all together.
Yeah.
And I think that became quite satisfying as it all comes together. It does actually, that episode, in hindsight now that we know the overall plot, and again, Sammy, you don't notice we're bouncing all over the fucking place here, and the fact that we know that the road isn't real and that Billy had created it, it does actually lead me to some questions that there may be answers to. I'm not saying these are plot holes. There might be answers that I missed. But things like, if he created it, and he created all those, subconsciously, but he created all those tasks and the trials for them to do. There are things revealed in those trials which they didn't know the answers to themselves. They didn't know that Rio was death and stuff like that. And so it's like, I'm trying to work out where that's come from then. If he subconsciously created that trial and the trial is to give them those answers, where's those answers come from initially? Because he must have then known that Rio was death somehow.
Was that revealed by...
It was part of the tarot.
I know it was revealed there. But was it revealed by the trial, or was it just revealed at the trial?
Well, I feel like because it was with the answer to the trial, she had to put the appropriate tarot cards down, and she had to find the ones that were each of them. Agatha was the Green Witch.
Oh yeah, but then Patty figured that out, didn't she?
Yeah, so she figured it out. But if that's the answer to the trial,
Oh, I see what you mean.
there's a little bit of that just along the way, whereas it doesn't quite make sense to me. There might well be a legit answer out there, but I don't know it.
Magic, innit?
That was the only kind of fair. That was the only kind of question I had coming out of it was, well, if he had made all the trials on the road, even though subconsciously, where did the answers that he clearly had come from?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they did,
and just everything. Sorry, I'm just jumping back on how fucking good the writing is, because obviously, the road doesn't exist. You're lying, am I?
Yeah.
And you're so much like your mother.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And
she knows the
none of
time.
this would have been this dramatic,
Yeah.
and like, she's just that right. Just the writing is so fucking good. Oh yeah, Billy could also read minds.
Okay, cool. And do you know what? I take that answer. I have no issues with that as an answer.
I would never have pulled that answer, even though I know.
Well, this is why I said I'm not saying this is a plot hole. I believe there's an answer there. I just don't know what it is. But that's a great answer. So yeah, I take that.
This is fair. I also take. Oh my god, just everything, and also just the episode all about Billy as well. I remember the internet kicking off because
that was great. That actually was the real turning point to me, where I went from I'm quite liking this to fucking hell. This is very good.
Yeah, that episode all about William, I should say, was I think really good. I know a lot of people were worried of them removing the Jewishness of William Kaplan, but they didn't, obviously. They were still like, oh, didn't hire a Jewish actor. Actor. I'm not sure a bar mitzvah would have a tarot reader. You never know. Have you been to a bar mitzvah? I haven't.
I've not. No.
So I wouldn't know. To be fair, I don't think I'd want to go anywhere that has a tarot reader. Not for me, thank you.
Unless it was.
And if I go there and they say the tower reverse, I'm getting the fuck out the Dodge. Out of the Dodge, as if I arrived in a particular brand of car. I'm getting out of this Dodge Charger.
But you're right. I like that episode a lot. That was the real turning point for me, as I say, where it went from, this is quite good, I'm enjoying what this show's doing, to this is very good. Because also, up until that point, I was talking about the bigger picture earlier, but up until that point, there was no... It didn't fit in with the rest of the world in any way. It was just doing its own thing, which isn't a bad thing. But then that's where it then really kind of cemented the rest of the universe's involvement in it, with confirming that, well, as you say, you knew all along it was Billy. I didn't, because I don't have that context from the comics. I don't really know Wiccan, etc.
Yeah.
Although in hindsight, I probably could have put that together. But that's obviously when they really reveal to you. But also how they did it, of him shifting consciousness.
Yeah, that's different.
And I loved that. And I think, if I remember rightly, I'd had my suspicion ahead of time. The episode before, I do remember. I so before that episode, I had my suspicion it was Billy, because I accidentally read one of your things in the Discord that was spoiler marked, and you wasn't you specifically saying it was Billy, but you were talking about how it was obvious who it was or something, and I worked it out then. Well, that's who I thought it might be. But then obviously the scene when when they crash in the car and he wakes up and the first thing he says is
Tommy. Yeah,
I was just like, fucking yeah, excellent, great, so good. And I remember saying, I was like, oh shit, I was like, his consciousness, and said to her, like, because she was like, what? I was like, Billy's consciousness has moved and is in there. Yeah. It's in him now.
Yeah, that was a clever way of doing it.
So clever. Because
the comics is weirder. The comics, I think, is weirder. And this also gets them around them having to be identical twins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because...
Does this also... Open question for the group. Have they salvaged Ralph Boner?
No, I still thought he was shit in this as well. I forgot about him, to be perfectly honest. I thought it was a bit. It's just hammed up. And
Quite liked seeing him turn up again, though. They didn't just completely forget about him and go, "We pretend he doesn't exist." I quite like that they kept him.
Yeah.
Well, now he's still going somewhere.
Repressed that. I honestly forgot he was in the show. Thank you, Kate. Oh, I nearly broke the Falcon.
For context, the Lego Millennium Falcon is at our feet.
But I'm sorry. Hang on. I'm sorry, Pooch. You can come. Okay. Didn't realise I was doing that.
Hannah is also sitting and humming "The Witch's Road" is what.
Oh, see. You distracted me with boner.
That's why we get nothing done.
What were we saying?
I wasn't distracting you with my boner today. We could have done a cover of "Witch's Road." Where are you off to?
There's still time. Not today, obviously. I think she wants to leave. She does want to leave.
Okay. Thanks, Keita, for joining us.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I just hit you in the face with the door. Sorry, I just assaulted your dog.
She assaults me on a daily basis.
She's assaulted me several times today. Do you want a boner family reunion shit? We were talking about in the comics they were reborn,
right,
like physically born. Even though they were born to different families, they were still identical.
Yes, I remember reading part of that in Discord somewhere.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
But I like that as an idea, and I like that kind of.
I like the reincarnation thing.
Yeah,
not reincarnate, but
it also comes from a way of this subconscious perseverance that Billy seems to have, which he shows throughout this show. Where in that moment he finds somewhere to go, to survive again, if only subconsciously. And I think that's the theme of the show going on. All these things he's doing subconsciously until he kind of really gets hold of his power. I thought that was very interesting. I liked that a lot.
No, I agree, and the fact that he then found Tommy, through pure perseverance. Also, are people just murdering? That kid was being murdered, right?
Being murdered by his group of friends. Yeah. I feel like that probably does happen.
Of course it does.
Yeah,
I'm sure it does, but it just seemed outrageous. And the am I killing this boy to save my brother? The only thing I even messaged you about this actually when the episodes were going on was how I never settled on the why does he still see Tommy as his brother but he doesn't think of Wanda as his mum?
If I remember WandaVision correctly, because she's manifested them, isn't she? In WandaVision, they're not real. She's made them out of magic.
Magic and like rogue souls, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like she hasn't actually.
Well, a robot didn't. No.
That's exactly my point. Yeah. No, there's no.
But
no engine grease.
She gestated them, if you will. She cooked them.
Right.
Because she was pregnant.
But then she also for lack of a better term, there's only one word I can think of, and it's horrific. Dissolves them. Does she not? At the end.
Oh, she closes the hex.
Yeah, which then gets rid of. That's the whole point of then her.
That's why their souls scatter. Yes.
Yeah, and that's her whole story arc of Multiverse of Madness is she's trying to find a version of them again because the ones she's had to destroy. Mm-hmm. So I think that is actually just teenager Billy and a little bit of she knows he's a mum, but rejects her as a mum because of what she did to them.
Maybe. But they never say anything. That's the thing. They never explain any of that. And he never specifically expresses disdain for Wanda. He just says she's not my mum. And it's like, well, her son is your brother. So it makes me wonder, did Billy and Tommy exist? Well, they just haven't said. I'm going to go on a limb and say no. They didn't exist beforehand.
Well, I think Wanda's created them, and what she's created with Billy is something so powerful that it's able to manifest itself into an existence.
Well, and bring Tommy back.
That's the whole theme of the show. He creates the road. He manifests and creates all of those.
He has reality warping power, just like Wanda does.
Yeah. So I think that's where it comes from.
Yes, which is an Infinity Stone. She'll be back. They clearly haven't decided.
Well, I saw a thing that apparently they were under instruction to use the word "gone" when referring to Wanda.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I read that somewhere.
really?
I don't know if that's true, but I read that somewhere.
Well, and they also say, "Is Wanda really dead?" And they go, "Yes, no,
No.
maybe." And so it's just like they clearly weren't allowed to say anything. I don't think they know. I don't think Marvel. I don't think Marvel know, because it's got to be a case of whether or not they can even justify. To be fair, yes, they can fucking justify, because...
Sorry. Rich, do we know what happens if you just keep the tonics in the freezer? They remain frozen.
Yeah, not being funny, that was a really dumb question.
Just because they just stay as frozen tonics tea cakes. I don't understand.
She created their bodies, at least. I think she created all of them. Like, she created the whole... There is apparently a Scarlet Witch movie coming. That's been said by some lonely people on Twitter, as opposed to by Marvel. Nothing's been actually said by Marvel.
I think with the way Marvel are clearly having to reform and course correct at the moment, who really knows what they're going to do, really, outside of what they've announced. And even then, what they've announced has changed. So... we shall see.
Yeah, they're always the same. The amount of times they've had a 2026 lineup announcement is
some of it there has been
outrageous.
their hand forced because of the whole Jonathan Majors thing, but like
I don't think their hand was full. I think they could have corrected from that way better.
Sure, I mean, like, but they've had to change the plans.
Yeah, I just think
because of that.
Just hire someone else.
Yes.
Just keep it as Kang and hire someone else. That's the argument there. There you go. No, I fixed it. I fixed it, and no one cares about the multiverse stuff. And also, the Robert Downey. Can they get Scarlet Witch back? They absolutely fucking should. Elizabeth Olsen is better than Robert Downey Jr. That's my hot take, and probably wouldn't cost substantially more than $85 million is the quote for Robert Downey Jr.'s fee. That's the key there. Because that's too much fucking money, and it's why your special effects is really, really shit. Because you keep giving actors substantially more than $85 million.
I will say visual effects in this, I think, looked great, and that's because a lot of it was practical.
Yes, the set was a set.
Yeah.
And that was great. I thought the lasers at the end looked a bit weird, but that's fine. Doesn't matter. Didn't take anything away from me. I did really like the Don't Take It All.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
That was cool. And then he tried to kill her again. But here we are. Here we are. I think... Yeah, so I get really annoyed when I think about how much they're getting paid. Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid more than the budget of Dune.
I don't think... Yeah, don't talk about this out loud. It upsets me.
And is he worth that? No. No, he's fucking not. Not even a little bit. Especially to play Doctor Doom in the worst casting in the history of the MCU. I'm really annoyed about it because there is literally nothing they can do to make that good. I'm just saying. Literally. No, sorry. There's a lot of dumb stuff has happened in the world of Marvel since we've done this.
I know. I'm letting you vent.
So things are going to happen. But
I also don't agree with you, but that's why I'm going to let you vent, and I don't have anything to say.
See, I know more about Doctor Doom than you do, so there is nothing that they can do to make this good. There is nothing that they can do to make this good. But I feel Robert Downey Jr. pretending to be Romani is going to be problematic.
I don't know who that is.
Romani? It's not a who.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
And that's one of the few characters. That's one of the times where you're just like, no. The fact that he's Romani is incredibly important to it being Doctor Doom. Because it's Robert Downey Jr., they're obviously going to make Doctor Doom be more important to Spider-Man than to Reed Richards, and that's fucking dumb. And then the thing is, we're either going to get a multiversal Doctor Doom, who's Robert Downey Jr., and that's going to be the main MCU Doctor Doom, and that's going to be shit, or he's just going to be the one from a different dimension. He's going to get wiped out completely from these Avengers movies, and then they're going to do Doctor Doom again, but a different, which removes all the momentum and is going to be completely shit. There is nothing that they can do to make this good. I have 0% faith even in the Russo brothers, because, every movie they've made that isn't Marvel has been shit. Anyway, moving on. I'll have another rant about the Spider-Man animated series later. Do you have more? You're the one else I have lots to say, and you've hardly said anything.
You've spoken a lot for me, and I kind of just agree with most of what you've said. So I'd literally just be repeating things you've said at this point.
Clip it to show me my feelings. Feel free. Feel free. Our clip thing doesn't work.
I didn't say that. I didn't even try.
No. Enough went wrong.
Yeah, too many things.
Yeah. And what, we're going to have social videos for a day and then go back again?
We had to close OBS multiple times to solve a different problem. And every time we reopened OBS, we had to reset up the camera. I thought having the cam link was supposed to make it easier.
I don't think it was the cam link, though, because our problem was the fact that the chat window...
Yeah, but the whole thing where the camera would freeze. You'd have to reset the camera thing. And
yes, maybe that is the cam link then. Who knows?
Who knows? But either way, pain.
So you've got no more things to add?
Only that I think I don't quite agree with you about that last episode and the pacing of that. I think the pacing of the show works really, really well. And even the first 2 episodes, although on their own, weren't quite gelling. I think then in context of the rest of the show,
they certainly come back to be more important. 100%.
Yeah, and they work nicely. I actually also enjoyed each individual's episode story, because each episode had its own thing going on.
To be fair, we haven't even mentioned the trials.
Yeah, and the trials, and I actually really enjoyed all of those each time as well, and seeing all of those. And I think they did some really interesting stuff within each of those. As each one felt different, was themed differently, which again kind of had a bit of a WandaVision callback in a way, because obviously, as you say, is essentially
it is a sequel to it.
Sequel. So that different vibe and feel for each episode was what WandaVision was doing, and I liked that. And that's also just entirely on a personal level that will only be really for me, you, and perhaps you guys here as people that watch Jack and I and Rabbit Hole in general. Is WandaVision was the first thing we really delved into these kind of format shows, and with Rich and Charlie on board, and obviously we loved it. Like WandaVision, we loved doing it. It was so exciting to every week get together and theorize about where the show was going, to the point where, kind of hindsight, probably would have been good if we had done that with this.
Probably,
like each week theorize.
Probably, but
but it was the birthplace.
It was the birthplace of socks.
Absolutely, socks. Socks. It was also the birthplace of Faust.
No, it wasn't.
Oh yeah, but it led to. But so it was a kind of reminder of that kind of feeling of what the early MCU show, because WandaVision was the first MCU show, wasn't it?
Yep.
Was doing, and WandaVision was one that, again, one we said that they did really well, and it went back to that kind of vibes like, yeah, this is what you should be doing with the TV shows.
So I really hope they learn.
So do I.
I really hope they learn from this, because I was saying, and we were saying early in the Discord and stuff, like early on in the show's airing life, that the show actually knows what it wants to be.
Yes.
And is going for it. Whether or not you like what it is, that is what it is, and it knows that. Whereas a lot of the other, like I should, in theory, like, if you told me that we were going to get a fucking Moon Knight thing in the MCU, I would have lost my mind. Yeah. But it couldn't decide whether it wanted to go for the full, absolute fucking weird Moon Knight side of it, or whether it wanted to be traditional Marvel. They also hired someone he's a very violent physical fighter, Moon Knight, and they hired a director and a showrunner who doesn't like action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking mental decision. I hope he doesn't come back. I hope they do more with Moon Knight because I think Oscar Isaac did great.
Oh man, it's so good.
And that suit is
sick.
wank worthy.
It is sick.
It's so unbelievably good. I fucking love that suit, and I love the concept. But they kept sitting between these two ideas, and I was just like, I want fully to delve into it, and it's another one of those threads that they've left open, and it's all this thing.
Yeah,
and but Hawkeye knew what it was, and it was really good.
And also, it's structured and written well as a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
That was the other problem.
A lot of them feel like really dragged out
movies that then didn't make sense. And like we said, some of the movies probably should have been TV shows as well.
Black Widow was a prime example. Yeah.
But this is written as a TV show and works as a TV show in its structure. And a part of that, as I say, is that for the most part, each episode has its own through line within that one episode that starts and ends. And there's a bit of a cliffhanger and a bit of a setup, but there's like a start and end story around those trials, which is what makes a good TV show work a lot of the time. Is having each episode needs to have the 3 acts as well as the whole season having the 3 act. In most cases, that's the difficult thing about writing a TV show is you have to get that pacing right.
Well, at the very least, you have an opening act, half of Act 2, cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Then you open the next episode with half of Act 2, and then the third act as this little this little thing, or like, but you don't do that all the time, and then you go back to a proper within episode 3 act structure. Like if you've got a thing to go over, whereas Faust was the main one where we felt this, wasn't it? There was just a lot of guff, a lot of hang time because they didn't really know. They had a 2-hour script and they turned it into 6 hours, and it just didn't really.
Yeah.
But this, with Agatha all along, as you say, they wrote it as a TV show. The writing is evident, clear as fucking day, that they knew what they were doing from the jump.
Yeah.
And it was fucking phenomenal. I feel like Loki season 2 felt that way as well. I prefer this.
It was better.
I prefer this. I think this is better. But Loki season 2 was definitely an improvement in terms of all of that. Sammy's written in Daredevil is the next one, and that is looking fantastic as well. Oh my god, I cannot fucking wait.
See, and the other thing is, and I do actually want to delve into some of the trials in a minute, but just while we're on this kind of flow, and the other thing is, I think that this is also proven is the importance of expectation, because also I was genuinely expecting nothing. From this.
Yeah.
When this was announced, I remember rolling my eyes so hard they.
Why does this exist?
Kenya. Like it. Yeah. This why
does this exist?
Of all the things you make, no one's asked for this, no one cares, whatever. And apparently, I think Caden told me that he had seen somewhere that apparently Catherine Hahn had said the same thing publicly. I don't know why they're making this, but whatever. But I think, partly because I've gone in with no expectations, and then it's worked out really well. That's good. You're always going to get a nice surprise, as Zendaya says in Spider-Man. If you
expect disappointment, you'll never be disappointed.
And admittedly, I've been like that with the MCU for a while now. I've just been expecting tosh, but then a few of the things recently have been a bit better again. So,
well, I think we're getting pleasantly surprised by things, and I don't necessarily think that's always because it's better. I don't necessarily think there is much of a quality difference between Quantumania and the Marvels. But at least for me, I received the Marvels better than Quantumania because I wasn't expecting that much. I do think the Marvels is better, but it's not like leaps and bounds. But yeah, you're right. The expectations plays a huge part of it as well, which is why I'm worried about my expectations of Daredevil.
Well, this is it. I'm deliberately still not getting overexcited or in any way too engrossed in anything from Marvel because I've been burned and I'm starting to get my faith back a little bit. I'm really looking forward to watching fucking Deadpool again in a couple of weeks.
10 days.
Without fucking people chewing popcorn in my ear. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to see what they do and what else gets announced and how the next few things that are lined up progress. Obviously, we've had the confirmation that Spider-Man 4 is happening as well, although I don't like the way they announced that. That's a different issue.
They didn't announce it like that. They announced it ages ago. It was just people picking up. Tom Holland's been talking about it for fucking ages.
Yeah, but I mean, they haven't. There hasn't been like an official It's weird in Spider-Man 4. It was just sort of happened in an interview.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's
because
a
Jimmy
issue.
Fallon is really bad at his job.
Yep. But that's it's a different issue. Are you okay?
No.
Okay.
This
Cool.
has been well established in the Discord.
Just checking. But I do want to talk about some of those individual trials because I thought some of them in particular as well. And the things it created, I liked that the show had like this element of horror going throughout it, without it really being too horror
Yeah.
either, because I don't like horror stuff. But I had this element of it going around it, which is perfect for Halloween. Very enjoyable. And then there was the odd moment where it's just like, fucking hell, that's creepy. Even fucking the first time you see Lady Death. When
Yeah.
she walks out of the shadow and is like the half skull face in episode 7.
That's not the first time you see her. Patti LuPone sees her in a vision when she's wandering around the mansion of the second trial, I think.
Oh, I don't remember.
There's a flash of, like, there's a woman standing there, and then you see the skull. You can't quite tell that it's
I don't recall
Aubrey Plaza. That's just popped into my head, which is probably how she figured that out. But that doesn't answer the trial question, which I think Sammy answered, but him being subconsciously reading minds. But yeah,
But there is that shot. She's coming out of the tunnel, and they reveal Rio is Death, and there's like a flash of light on her. I thought it was a bit creepy.
That was spoiled for me by a pop figure, and that kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Fair.
Because that was the only thing that would have been an actual surprise.
Yeah.
Well, there was the twist that he made it, but yeah. Carry on.
I also really liked the trial with the Ouija board.
Yeah.
And the possessed Agatha. I really enjoyed because it was again creepy as fuck, and it was doing all like the stereotypical horror shows for like walking fucking bent over backwards and shit like that. I really enjoyed all of that. I enjoyed what they were doing and the variety of different things they had to do. I liked that there was an episode where they just had to fucking perform the song as the trial.
That felt a bit hokey.
I like hokey, but I liked the change up in it and the variety of different things. Because again, at this point, it was still that kind of WandaVision-y vibe. It hadn't really fully kicked into the serious edge of it.
Yeah.
And I just liked what that was then doing of just changing everything out, giving us something new each week. And still their kind of own, each witch had their own kind of personal mystery to work through and personal story to work through. And I really enjoyed that.
I agree. I think, what would I say my favourite trial was? I want to say the tarot one, but I think that was just my favourite episode.
Yeah.
Don't know if it was my favourite trial. I liked the house, though the first one. The first one was good fun. R.I.P. everyone. Yeah, probably the first one. Because everything, or the Ouija board one. The one where they performed the song felt good. It did feel odd that everyone just knew how to excellently play an instrument. But they're hundreds of years old, so you need to fill the time. Did you notice that Patti LuPone was holding a different instrument every time the camera cut to her?
No, I didn't.
She was holding like maracas, and then it was a triangle, and then it just kept changing. I didn't notice that either. It was.
I actually also just like the concept of the song. I liked the concept of the song anyway, which they were building up in the show was a witch's tale, which another witch had turned into a pop song.
Yeah.
I liked that, but then I liked the further deeper thing that it actually just came from a nursery rhyme type thing that she was singing with her kid, and then she used that and built that into a trap.
Well, yeah, exactly. So they turned that into a trap, and that's how word spread.
Yeah.
Of this song and of the actual tale, and then she was clearly, you could see the moment where she figured out what to do. This obviously.
There's
also general tidbit.
Yeah.
Don't walk up to a woman crying standing next to a clearly child-sized grave. General tip. General tip.
Yes.
For life. I think you
That one deserved
to die. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Did you spot the really? There's a really clever thing which I didn't spot this myself. I saw it on the old TikToks, but it is very, very good. There's a point where
listen to the German version. That'll get rid of it.
Agatha argues with one of the witches at one point about the lyrics. I can't remember which one she argues with, because Agatha sings a lyric which is "Find your coven too," and they're saying no, it's coven true, and she's like, no, it's not. I've done this before. It's coven too, And obviously, we now know she definitely knows the lyrics.
Yes.
Because it's her song.
Yes.
But it's Coven 2 because it's about her coven of her and her son.
Yeah.
So it is Coven 2 because of there's just two of them. That was her coven. And I quite like that as a little thing.
But yeah, I would never have picked up on that. No. I think that was Kale, who I found out through TikTok in the comics is the cousin of Johnny Blaze.
Interesting.
So I don't think it could necessarily not be a coincidence. And obviously, I found this out on the internet. Oh no, I found it on Twitter. Therefore, the responses are immediately terrible. The first response was Johnny Blaze isn't black. I was like, right.
What's it got to do with what colour your cousin is?
Not a lot. There are multiple avenues in which you can have a different race cousin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So many. But anyway, I digress. And also, he might be in the MCU.
I guess, yeah, he is in Fantastic, isn't he?
Johnny Blaze?
I can't remember.
No, you're thinking of Human Torch.
I am thinking.
Johnny Storm.
Yep.
Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider.
Yep.
Nick Cage in MCU. Perfect. Hannah's just said none of my cousins are black.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Go and tell that person.
Twitter has... I think we are the first people in society to prove that Twitter is filled with morons. But yeah, you can imagine exactly what that comment section was like. It was outrageous.
I will let you read the things.
If you've got more to say,
No,
we'll go.
I just want to close up by saying I've really enjoyed watching this show, and I think what should really cement to anyone, if you want to ask, did Kristian enjoy this show, is it made me text you and go, do you want to fucking do a podcast?
It did, yeah, it did. This was initiated by yourself. I'm always happy to do these.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
I know you. I know.
I made that sound more pessimistic than what I meant it, but I've not felt an urge to sit.
I've not felt an urge to talk about something specific. But...
Yeah, I've not felt an urge to sit and do this about anything since before April, if I'm honest. Yeah, and I said, watching it, I was just like, I fucking want to get back and talk about this show in some form because I'm really pleased that it exists and I really enjoyed watching it.
I was saying to you the other day that it will happen for Daredevil because I'm either going to want to come and verbally masturbate all about how good Daredevil is, or need to get my depression and everything out of me for how bad Daredevil is.
Yeah.
But considering it's a season 4, technically,
of
a show that's excellent, my hopes are high and they will remain high and it looks great.
Also, one more thing before we do the reading the things. Did anyone here watch our Deadpool video?
Of course they didn't.
Because I don't know if anyone did and if they liked or enjoyed that because I never heard anything from anyone. And I'm curious if anyone did watch it and what they think
anybody is.
Or if people would just prefer us just to do this about the Marvel or anything in that fact. Would people just prefer this? Yeah, we did. We tried something different for an Admit One where we didn't want to do a long form podcast. If you head to youtube.com/rabbithole media, there is a short Deadpool versus Wolverine video.
It is 4 minutes 51. Yeah, no one's watched it because you all suck. But I will say, how many people are here? 3, 4. 3 or 4, 147 people watched the video. So,
well, I would appreciate it if you wouldn't mind taking 4.5 minutes out of your day, maybe when this has ended, maybe tomorrow morning, to go and give it a little nose and let us know what you think.
Oh, look at this! It's about to appear in the Discord.
Oh, perfect. I'm pretty sure it was posted in the Discord at the time.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That sounds.
That looks really
weird.
complicated. Yeah. That looked really complicated.
I'm just going to copy a link because I hit the share button, share to Discord, and that looked like the most complicated thing I've ever seen. There it is. It's also the best thumbnail I've ever made.
It is a very good thumbnail. Jack, reading the things. We can't read, but we're reading the things.
Yeah. Our co-host couldn't be here this evening because he wanted to spend time with his family or some utter crazy nonsense. But so we will start with his, as he is written in. So Richard says, I had low expectations for Agatha all along. Not that I thought it would be bad. We did. But as with a lot of Marvel stuff recently, I just didn't care. Exactly. See? Even your own wife thinks you're a weirdo for wanting to spend time with him. I'm refusing to ignore the sarcasm. No, I'm choosing to ignore the sarcasm. That's what I meant to say. Thankfully, the show actually turned out to be good. Not mind-blowing, but good. Some episodes were better than others, and I thought some sections overstayed their need, like the recording studio section, which just felt like an elongated excuse to get the lackluster demon fight at the end of the song.
I forgot about the demon fight.
Yeah, the demon.
I think I repressed that.
Yeah, the demon was a bit shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a bit like we bought a demon costume from Fisher Price. I felt that the whole Wanda Sun angle was a bit of a disappointment, only in the sense that I was really thinking this was just going to be about Agatha and fleshing her out, but it initially felt like it... we can't read. About Agatha and fleshing her out, but it initially felt like a let's put Luke in the Mandalorian moment. I do understand its purpose being a good one and leading to other stuff, but why couldn't this be its own thing like Werewolf by Night? All that being said, it was enjoyable, fairly well paced. I am glad that it exists. The last episode giving the backstory of Agatha's son and her relationship with death was exactly what I was hoping for as the series progressed. I'm really not sure about Ghost Agatha. It might have had more power in actually killing her off, but maybe that's just me. Reading that back, it felt like it was just being negative, but I did enjoy it, honest. There were some really strong sections, and I enjoyed most of the puzzle-solving sections a lot. The way they told the Willie and Billy story was very good, and there were a few really strong, heartfelt moments throughout the series. I largely agree. Other than the Wanda's Sun angle being a disappointment, that was the best ship.
I agree.
That was the best ship. I do feel like I get what you mean though. This is a show called Agatha all along, but the show's about Billy. Yeah, the show's about Billy.
And this is what we were saying as well about things needing to fit into the bigger picture or whatever. But I do think without that angle, I don't think.
Did I say Willy Billy?
I think without that angle, the show wouldn't have had the same impact. It wouldn't have been as good.
No, it wouldn't have.
Because I think that's
there's just not as much.
Quite a
not
crucial
enough there.
part of the interest of the plot.
You had to go all the way to Birmingham to buy craft supplies?
Is
there not a hobby craft?
This is basically a reading the thing, so I'm going to read it. Hannah says, I was in Birmingham. I can't say that like I'm from Birmingham then. Buying craft supplies, so didn't write the things, but I liked it. Had zero expectations. Had a good time watching it. Feel like I need to rewatch the whole thing to take it all in better. Not sure how I feel about the fact Billy now has a ghosty best friend. Also, I thought Plaza was her actual girlfriend, so that confused me.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm confused.
I'm confused by your confusion.
She was.
She was a girlfriend.
Did you not see the scene where they did a lesbian kiss for a bit? Good scene.
It's your wallpaper. She was.
I genuinely want to circle back to why did you have to go to Birmingham for craft supplies?
Yeah, there's a hobby craft in the town you live in.
There's also Amazon.
We don't support Bezos other than when there's good deals. There was a craft convention. Oh, I see.
I see. All right, fair enough.
You could have ended at.
I know. Yeah, I know what a convention is.
Yeah.
I go to ones about trains weekly.
Yeah, the tism is strong in this one. Choo Choo Magoo, as we call him. There are more reading the things. We also have one.
That's cool. Online networking. Lovely stuff.
That is cool. Conventions are cool. I like a convention. I wanted to go to Comic-Con this year, but the same thing happened as happens with me in Comic-Con every year. I forget that it exists.
Do you want to come to a train one with me?
No.
You might like it.
I doubt it.
Is that what you're worried about? Are you worried about you're going to leave?
I have
with the tickle for some trains.
Absolutely zero interest in trains.
I don't know, but that's what you're worried about, though. You're worried about you're going to fuck, I want to build a model railway.
No, because I'm practically inept. Words I can't say on a live stream podcast.
I sense what you're saying.
But self-deprecating remarks.
Yep.
There's a chew, and there's a chew,
It doesn't have to be a chew.
and there's a chew.
It doesn't have to be.
Then what's the fucking point?
It can be grumbly ones or worry ones. It doesn't have to be choo-choo ones.
Then what's the fucking point? I want Thomas and maybe George. That's about it. Anyway, we have a reading things from Katie. Katie says, it was refreshing to watch a TV show that took an almost fully female cast and created a story that was interesting, funny, sad, and thought-provoking without taking the piss out of femininity or making them weak or monstrous. My favourite episode was Death... Oh, fuck me. I'm really emphasising the we can't read part of that theme tune, haven't we? My favourite episode was Death's Hand in Mine, where we delve deeper into Lilia's story. I'm not Kuldaru's story. I loved flipping back and forth along her timeline, putting it all together, making more sense of what we had already seen, and learning more about her character. We agree that is also we agree with that being the best episode. I can't tell if Marvel have just given us bad content lately, yes, or whether I've just got sick of it, as there's been so much.
Also, yes.
Also, yes. But this show seemed to rise above all that. I enjoyed it. I agree. It has absolutely been the best thing they've done in a while.
Yeah.
It's better than Deadpool, I think.
I think so as well. And I've walked away from this feeling more enthused about it than I did Deadpool. Again, proof being Deadpool, I made a 4.5 minute video. This one, I was willing to put a day aside to do a stream.
That's true. That's true. I mean, there's more substance to this. Deadpool is a good romp. Like, you're more likely to just slap Deadpool on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah,
that's not this.
No, I know you weren't dig on. No.
Deadpool.
No. But yeah, I think there was just more substance to this.
Yeah.
What else was this year? Nothing. Echo, was that this year?
Well, I haven't watched it.
Oh, well, it was definitely better than that trash. Talk about shows we don't. I watched it. Yeah, of course I did. I'm Marvel's cuck whore.
Yeah, I know you are.
But talk about nonsense of a show. Why did that need to exist? Christ on a bike. I hope that character never shows her face again. Because what a waste of my life. Things that don't need to exist. Like, at least, this show was born out of a viral song that came from a good show. This was just born out of a person. This was just born out of a person who was present during Hawkeye. A waste of life.
Something else that's happened between when we last did a show and this one. This microphone now does this.
Same. The difference being mine's meant to.
Yeah. Mine is not.
Yeah, but dog.
It wasn't the dog. It's just where the foam was disintegrated.
I see. Oh, this doesn't flip. This font is small. Bear with. For our final reading of things. So Sammy has written in.
Excellent.
Sammy says, "At last, a proper good Marvel show. The opening episode was excellent." We disagree. When the cop show title started, I was in hysterics. The show was fun from the off and continued in the same manner. All the mysteries were set up well and paid off. The plotting was tight and nothing was set up that wasn't resolved. Agreed. Although it would have been nice to see more flashbacks of Agatha and Rio's relationship, as we were just expected to take that as read. Or she means red. The English language is stupid. The finale was utterly brilliant. The slow reveal of the witch's ballad being a little song between Agatha and Nikki that turned into a legend at a con was excellently done. If the Salem 7 hadn't turned up, Teen wouldn't have been scared and created the road, and Agatha would have pulled it off again. It did look like it was setting up for a standard CGI fight between Agatha and Rio, but we saw from behind a dirty greenhouse. Brilliant. I was worried initially that was exactly how it was going to go. The Salem 7 were woefully underused and didn't really prove a threat in the end. No, they just fell.
Yeah, they did just kind of... Yeah.
They just fell. All in all, though, the series was excellent. Acted well by everyone. Sex was great. Sets were great. Writing was tight.
Careful.
That is what we need more of from Marvel TV. Smaller budgets, better writing, more contained. stories.
Agreed. Apparently, I read somewhere as well. Apparently, this has been the cheapest MCU show they've done.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, in like a good way. In a good way.
because it's been
It's sets.
resourced well.
Yeah, and they've spent the money well. There's no one in here that's so outrageously famous they need to get the entire budget of fucking everything Nathan Fillion has ever done.
God, more Nathan Fillion in my life.
Yeah, I need more Nathan Fillion.
The Vision show. Do you think that's going to pick up from this?
Maybe.
I think it'll be intertwined in this. You got WandaVision, Agatha, and Vision all part of like the same
Maybe.
thing.
Depends how quickly again Billy shows up, I suppose.
True.
Because Vision hasn't started yet, so it's way off.
Yeah.
But it depends. Billy might show up in other things beforehand. We don't know. I think you kind of want them to, because otherwise they're taking way too fucking long to do anything about this Young Avengers stuff that they're clearly setting up. But they do also need to get Tommy in first. But who knows? Maybe we know Ultron's coming back, so I don't know how that would tie into anything.
That's true.
But we don't know how integral to the.
I imagine Billy doesn't know about White
He wouldn't know about White Vision, no. Because White Vision has fucked off by then, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's flown away. So he wouldn't know. Don't think they ever saw each other.
Yeah, White Vision doesn't materialize really until Billy's already gone.
No, that's not true, because he's fought off by the actual Vision, and actual Vision.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
correct.
correct. Yes.
Actual Vision, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I just don't think they ever interact, because they like the battle is won in that whole ship of Theseus argument. So then that's all sorted, and then at the very end, it's just normal Vision. There, but I don't know. But that could be a place for them to show up again, or it could be a case of they found Tommy and then they both show up in that. Who knows? I don't think they've even cast. They haven't announced a cast for Tommy yet. See, it's going to be a tough call. It needs to be someone of a similar age or looks a similar age to Joe at the very least, because otherwise it's going to be a bit jarring. But
Well, if it's a consciousness inhabiting another body,
it doesn't matter too much, but you would want, like, because they're going to still play the story that they're twins.
sure, yeah,
Like they need like the same age. But saying that, he's 10
yeah,
in that body technically. So weird. I just assumed they were going to do the weird thing of, because obviously they get to 10 years old incredibly quickly. Depends on the age of the body. Well, it was clearly a kid. It was clearly a younger teenage body that they were implying. But I'm not saying, like, in terms of story, it doesn't need to be. I just think in terms of how the vibe of trying to make them be twins would be weird if one of them looks 15 years older than the other.
yeah. No, I get you.
But yeah, it doesn't need to be. We'll get there. I want more out of this. Clearly, they've set it up that Agatha's going to be sticking around with Billy for at least a while. So I'm up for more of that. Up for more Billy. We shall see where it goes. In other news, that Spider-Man animated series that's coming out is fucking disgusting. That animation
You're gonna do this.
looks so unbelievably bad. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Ever.
Not seen it. Sorry. I do apologise.
It looks completely ugly. Did you watch that? I take it you didn't watch that trailer of all the new Marvel stuff coming
No, I saw that it'd come out, but I haven't watched it. Like I said, I've kind of become disinterested in Marvel in most ways. To be honest, it's not appealed to me to watch that.
It is quite funny watching through that trailer because it's got a lot of it's got Daredevil footage in it. And I'm like, this all looks phenomenal. And it's like Spider-Man show. I'm like, ugly as sin. ugly as sin. It looks like someone has an ass for a face and then was hit by a truck. There are rumours that they're discussing the idea of Spider-Man 98, but I imagine that's also just Twitter nonsense. But and then Ironheart and everything's coming out next year. I imagine that'll be trash, and but largely because that footage looked trash. Eyes of Wakanda didn't realise was animated, but that also looks ugly as sin because Marvel's animation is ugly as sin. What is quite funny though is in that trailer we seem to see a version of Blade for What If. Within What If,
Oh, really?
there seems to be a version of Blade.
Hasn't that been shelved, like Blade?
But well, again, yeah, it's because people. Basically, it was pushed out of the next year's release window, but that's happened multiple times. It's meant to be out by now. It's meant to be out multiple times over. Yeah. And everyone just immediately went and started posting nonsense of how Mahershala Ali is in discussions with James Gunn to join DC. I'm like, no, he isn't. No, he isn't. I'm sure he's still contractually tied in with Marvel, even if the movie hasn't fucking come out yet.
Did you see the news that the creative director of Wolverine had left Insomniac?
Nope.
Has left the project and has begun working at one of Microsoft's new studios that they've acquired. I can't remember which one it was.
It's bold.
Not that that's related, just that reminded me.
I didn't even know Sacha Baron Cohen is in Ironheart. I don't like Sacha Baron Cohen. That's quite disheartening. I don't like him at all. Taking over Perfect Dark. Oh, so he's hopping on to a game that looked pretty much done. It's an interesting move. But fair enough. I'm sure he's happy. I'm sure he was offered many $.
Yeah.
Am I worried about Wolverine? No. I imagine considering Marvel would probably I would say as a creative director on a Marvel game in today's standard, I would suspect he had zero input.
Also, with how far along it is, like how long it's been developed, it's going to be pretty far along. Where I don't think him leaving is going to make that much of a difference.
I forgot Craven existed until I said, yeah, hopefully it's better than Venom 3 because that was arse. I had a thought, I completely lost it. I'm just talking about Marvel because a lot of stuff's happened. The Cap looks good. I'm most intrigued by Thunderbolts.
Yeah, me too. Actually, me too. I agree.
Because the trailer looked pretty good, despite the fact that it was nearly 4 minutes long. That was unnecessary. But I'm intrigued by Sentry. I want to know what they're going to do with Sentry, because that's a weird character. A weird character to try and do. The only character I can think of that is, or the most unique way of solving a overpowered character, in that he's absurdly strong to the point where he can punch reality open and all that kind of nonsense and just absorb all of that. But he has agoraphobia, so he doesn't like going outside.
Oh, I see. So do I, to be fair.
No, but yeah, he was just like, are you going to help us with this world-ending event? And I'm like, no, that's outside. And also, I just like Bucky and I like Yelena. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and there's just there's lots of things. I don't care about most of the other characters, but I don't know if you're aware, but Thanos' motivation in the comics is so that he can clap Death's cheeks, if you will, which is totally understandable if it's Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, I was going to say. I have the same motivations.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to wipe out half the universe, to impress Death. But they even set that up as his motivation in the first Avengers movie.
What I've seen in Agatha, however, she's not his type. Other way around. He's not her type.
Yeah, she's purplist.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. She's Death. She might go for a bit of everything. I thought it was the other way around. I thought Deadpool loved Death. Not.
Both of those crushes are understandable, however.
I thought Deadpool loved Death, not the other way around. Oh, it's that Death. What do you mean?
What other kind of death is there? Anyway,
Anywho,
I do feel like I have now expressed everything I wanted to say about it.
yeah. I think that's hence me just waffling about other Marvel stuff. Next year is packed for Marvel, by the way.
Well, maybe we'll do some more things.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll do some. Definitely do more of those videos.
Well, the next thing that we'll be doing, date yet to be confirmed.
Yes.
We will still do the Rabbit Hole end of year show where the three of us will be together here in the studio to talk about our favourite moments of 2024. Fuck me, 2024. First time we did it was 2018. Oh. Yeah, it will be happening. So keep an eye on the Discord for that. We'll have fun and games as part of it, I'm sure.
Indeed. I've been taking notes.
Yeah.
All year.
And then we shall see what the new year brings for us here.
Dismay.
On you'll probably do something in May, I imagine. Yeah.
If I make it. I thought that was a fucking face that scared the shit out of me.
I know what you're referring to.
Oh my god. I was like, there's a man!
It's a bird feeder.
Yeah.
It does kind of have like Riddler in Batman vibes.
Yes. I thought that was the
They
end.
can't see what we're talking about.
No, they never will.
I'll see if I can get a photo.
As always, I have no notes. Yes, but I tell you every year that you should start noting down things you see.
It kind of does show.
This is every year I've told you both, and you never do it. So this is your own
Put
fault.
photos in Twitch chat.
Probably not. Imagine the chaos of what female streamers would get.
Yes, fair point. Bless you.
So yeah, that would be a terrible idea. But here we are.
Just going to put in the Discord the face that Jack thought he saw.
It's terrifying. I just saw eyes. But anyway. Next year, Marvel packed. I'm just going to see if I can remember because it's all insane.
Wow.
So January is ugliest Spider-Man in the known universe.
That doesn't exist.
February is Captain America.
Yes.
March is Daredevil.
Right.
April,
Do you want me just to bring it up?
I think, is something.
I'm searching for it.
Yeah. May is Thunderbolts. June is Ironheart. July is fantastic. I can't remember April. There was definitely something in April. No.
Order.
No, July is Thunderbolts, and then after that is Wonder Man and Eyes of Wakanda and Marvel Zombies, which I imagine all is crap. But here we are. I know nothing about Wonder Man, so the clips we saw of Wonder Man in that little trailer thing confused the shit out of me.
What If is first. So
Oh yes, well, What Ifs is this year.
Yeah.
So it's not 2025. But yes.
So Captain America in February, as you say. Daredevil in March. And then Thunderbolts May.
Oh, so this isn't fully up to date yet.
This was posted on the 30th of October.
Interesting. Well, it's skipped loads then, isn't it?
Interesting.
Because it didn't do Spider-Man in January.
Oh, no, I skipped that bit.
Oh, I see.
I skipped that.
So there is nothing in April.
No.
We're waffling.
Ironheart in June. Fantastic Four in July.
And then the rest of it is...
Eyes of Wakanda in August.
Oh, that's got date.
Marvel Zombies in October.
And Wonder Man in December.
Wonder Woman. I've not heard of that. Why haven't I heard of Wonder Man? Holy shit, is that Ben Kingsley?
Yeah. Trevor Slattery.
He's back!
Yeah.
This is the best fucking news. I didn't even know that was happening.
Well, the thing that doesn't make any sense, I will forever be disappointed that Nathan Fillion is not Wonder Man. I agree, because canonically, he kind of is Wonder Man, because he has a poster in the background, for he is that character, and it's Nathan Fillion. You're correct. Especially considering he is better than What's His Chops that's playing Wonder Man. But here we are.
So is Ben Kingsley playing Wonder Man?
No.
I'm so confused. Who's Wonder Man? I don't
The
actually.
guy that was sitting next to.
Right. I don't actually know this character or what this is.
All I know is that he's an act. Like the character is an actor, and I don't know anything about it. But in the clip, the character was auditioning for the acting role of Wonder Man. So I actually have no idea what Wonder Man is whatsoever.
Interesting.
But anyway, thank you all for watching this latest episode of our Whenever the Fuck We Want podcast. It was good fun. I enjoyed being back.
Me too. I did.
And I'm sure we'll do it again. Well, we will in December at some point, presumably. But first, St. John's Yard.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some food. I forgot about that.
Thank you everybody for joining. I'm not going to go through the whole rigmarole, to be honest, because what's the point? Just subscribe to the YouTube and keep an eye out for the videos when we do them.
Yes, and as I say, we've put the Wolverine video, Deadpool Wolverine video in Discord. I would appreciate people's thoughts and feedback on that, even if it's negative and this is good,
constructive.
I want to watch it, or whatever it might. But even if it's just this isn't for us,
that's fair.
What we want from you guys, that's fine. That's good.
That's
feedback.
Fair. That is also
Good feedback.
That's fair.
So we would like.
But I would argue that's constructive.
It is, it's constructive.
Yeah.
It's constructive.
As opposed to just going, you guys fucking suck. Slurs.
Yes.
It's just the internet.
Correct.
But anyway, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for doing your reading the things entries. It's nice to have a bit of interaction with y'all.
Participation.
Some participation. That's a better word. No, Richard. It's not what I meant. You do, but it's not what I meant. I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind. It's because we don't do this very... This is why we don't do this very often.
Yes.
Because he has to deal with this nonsense.
Yes.
But...
At least you're aware of it now.
I've always been aware of it. Just to give
that's not better.
Thank you very much for joining. We'll be back for the end of year show, and then we'll be back in the future when Marvel does something impressive. Or DC starts next year as well. Actually, that's not true. DC starts in December. But maybe they'll start being good, and we'll talk about that.
Or if there's a good game, it's less likely somehow. But, if something like that happens...
Maybe we'll be inspired by Marvel rivals.
Maybe.
Unlikely, but maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, that one will require the table.
Yeah, I'll build the table for that. Because it will be very cozy on here. Otherwise.
It would be a bit of a squeeze.
Yeah.
It would be a bit of a squeeze. But thank you very much for joining. And until the end of year extravaganza, we shall see you then.
Bye-bye.